رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما. We are going to start with lesson 16 of Unit 2, which is comparative or superlative nouns. Al-Ism Tafdeel is an ism that is used to compare two things or to show the highest level of something. It is derived noun that indicates the comparative or superlative degree. Comparative adjectives compare two things and superlative adjectives compare more than two things. And Ism Tafdeel is comparative degree when it is used to compare two things by saying one has a more of a particular attribute than the other. We use Ism Tafdeel for comparison, and Ism Tafdeel appears on the scale of af'alu, like akbaru, asgharu, or a'lamu, in that pattern. Ism Tafdeel is an ism that is used to compare two things or to show the highest level of something. You use the word bigger for comparing in English, and you use the word biggest for the superlative degree, right? For example, you can take Zaid is the tallest of them all, right? So tallest is the superlative form, okay? And if I say the book is bigger than a pen, and here bigger is the comparative form. Here we are comparing two things and we are describing one as being bigger than the other. And the primary structure of Ism Tafdeel is af'alu. So for Hasana, it's going to be ahsanu, which means better. Hasan is good, ahsanu is better. Kabir is big. Akbaru is the greater or bigger. Jamil is beautiful. Ajmal is more beautiful. Saghir is small. Asghar is smaller. And the important note is you have to say af'alu or akbaru. But you cannot use tanween. You cannot say af'alun or akbarun. And note that all sigas of Ism Tafdeel does not accept tanween. And akbaru, this means more. It's a comparative word which means bigger. So if I say darib, right, someone who hits. But if I say adrabu in the pattern of af'alu, the meaning is someone who hits more. The crazy thing about this word is it can sometimes be the opposite meaning, right? It can be someone who hits more or the one who gets hit more. Okay? Or sometimes it could also mean the opposite, the one who hits more. Okay? And for example, we have ha mim dal. Hamd is from praise, right? Ahmadu is the one who praises more. But it can also mean the one who's praised more, the opposite meaning. And it can also have an active comparative meaning or a passive comparative meaning that depends on the context. Okay? And for the defects and colors too, you see the same pattern, right? Like ahmar is red, right? Or aswad is black, abyad is white. It has the same pattern as af'al, right? These don't have a superlative degree. Okay, ahmar is just red. No more red or most red. Okay, here the superlative degree is not considered. The comparative or superlative nouns follow the pattern of af'alu, like akbaru, asgharu, a'lamu, ashaddu, or ahabbu. The i'rab of these nouns is dhamma or fatha or kasra. This is the table format. I have the more detailed table format for these Ism Tafdeel. As you all know the Muslim chart, like we have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. For the dual, it's Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini. For the plural, Muslimuna and Muslimina. And the feminine is Muslimatun, Muslimatani, Muslimatun, and Muslimatin. Right? So same way, we have the Ism Tafdeel chart. So for singular, we have Af'alu. Ism Tafdeel, it follows the Af'alu pattern. Okay? And the dual, it's going to be Af'alani. Like Muslimani, it's going to be Af'alani. And for the plural, there are two types of plurals. Remember, we learned in Unit 1 that the first one is the unbroken plural, that is Jama Salim, like Muslimuna, right? So here we have the same pattern, Muslimuna pattern, we have Af'aluna. And we had also learned about the broken plural, that is Jama Mukassar, right? You don't know the pattern, right? It could be anything. So we have like three different patterns. It could be afa'iluna or afa'ilu, or sometimes it is fu'ala. Okay, so this is Jama Salim, unbroken plural, like Muslimuna, afa'aluna. And the broken plural, Jama Mukassar, it's afa'iluna or afa'ilu or fu'ala. And we have the feminine noun, it's gonna be in the fu'ala pattern. If it is akbaru, it's gonna be kubra. If it is asgharu, it's gonna be sughra. You might have seen these words in Quran, right? And the dual, it's gonna be fu'layani or fu'layayni, like muslimani, muslimaini, fu'layani and fu'layayni. And the unbroken plural, it's gonna be like muslimatun or muslimatin pattern. It's gonna be fu'layatun or fu'layatin. And the broken plural is fu'alun. Okay, you don't have to worry about memorizing this chart. Just know that this is how you have the Jama Salim, unbroken plural, and the broken plural, and this is the chart. And inshallah, when you look at the examples, you'll understand. In the table format in the book, we have akbaru, akbarani, and the plural is akabiruna or kubara or akabiru. And the muannas feminine is kubara, kubarayani, or we have kubarayatun or kubarun. Okay. The most used noun from the above table is the masculine singular. Akbaru, af'alu, asgharu. Okay. These are comparative nouns only when followed by min. Without the min, these are superlative nouns. For example, if you have akbaru and you have min after it, then it becomes comparative noun, like this is better than that, right? If you don't have min after it, it becomes superlative nouns. Let's take some examples. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَإِثْمُهَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. And their sin is greater than their advantage. Now tell me which is the Ism Tafdeel in this ayah?
It's akbar.
Okay, is it comparative or superlative?
Comparative. Comparative.
Why?
Because of the min.
Very good. When you have min after it, it becomes comparative. And look at the translation. And their sin is akbaru minha, greater than. Naf'ihima, their advantage. So we have akbaru minha, this is comparative, greater than. You're not saying greatest. Okay, why? Because you have min after it. Okay, so this becomes comparative now. Illa hiya akbaru min ukhtiha. But she is greater than her sister. So which is the comparative now? Ism Tafdeel, akbaru. And the translation is greater than. We have akbaru followed by min. Ana aktharu minka mala. I have greater wealth than you. Which is the word? Ism Tafdeel in this?
Aktharu.
Okay, aktharu. Is it comparative or superlative?
It is comparative.
Why?
Min. Because of the min in the.
Very good. So we have, I have greater wealth than you. So this is, you're comparing, right? Wal fitnatu akbaru min al qatli.
Again, comparative.
Persecution is worse than slaughter. We have min after it, it is comparative. وَمَسَاكِنُ تَرْضَوْنَهَا أَحَبَّ إِلَيْكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ. And the dwelling you love is dearer to you than Allah. Which is Ism Tafdeel, comparative?
Ahabba.
Very good. We have ahabba and then we have min here. Okay?
So ahabba is superlative here.
No, ahabba is not superlative. We are learning about the comparative because look at the translation. We have ahabba, we have followed by min. We have min here, min Allah.
Okay,
right?
So it
and,
can be anywhere in the sentence.
Yeah. And also it's dearer for you than Allah. So you're comparing two things here, right? So if you're comparing two things, it becomes comparative.
So, sister, but it doesn't fit in the pattern af'alu, right?
Yeah. There are certain examples of comparative or superlative nouns are, you have akbaru, asgharu, ashaddu or ahabbu. They too, yeah. You have ashaddu or ahabbu. Now let's take the examples of superlative nouns. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Allah is greatest. Okay. So here, what is this? You don't have min after it, right? What is this? Superlative, right? Yeah. And Allahu Akbar, you say this is superlative because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than everything. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is the greatest. Okay. So this is the best example of superlative noun, that is Ism Tafdeel. Allahu Akbar. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Now which is the Ism Tafdeel in this ayah? Ashaddu, right? And those who believe are stronger in their love for Allah. Okay, and there's no min here. So this is from, yeah, actually the sister was asking, it doesn't follow the af'al pattern, right? But the root letters for this ashaddu word are sheen, dal and dal. If you put them in af'alu pattern, it's gonna be ash the du. Okay, and remember there's a rule in Arabic, when two letters come together you put shadda on it, so it becomes ashaddu. It's actually ashdadu. Or we have, if there is like another example, we have ahbabu. Ahabbu becomes ahbabu.
Alright, got it.
Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most honored in the sight of Allah is the most righteous. So which is the ism tafdeel in this ayah?
Akrama
MashaAllah.
Atqals.
Very good. And you look at the translation, akramakum, and this has come as mudaf ilay, right? Noun plus pronoun. The most honored, right? This is the superlative degree. In the sight of Allah is the most righteous, right? Allahumma ja'alna minhum. May Allah make us among them. Ameen. Alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin. Is not Allah the wisest of judges? Bala.
Kama.
Ahkamil hakimin, right? So this is mudaf and this is hakimin is mudaf ilay. Ahkama, and there's no min after it. This is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the wisest of judges. Okay. And we have inna awhanal buyuti labaytul ankabut. The flimsiest of houses is the spider's house. Which is the ism tafdeel in this ayah? Awhana. Very good. Awhana is the ism tafdeel. Yawma nabatishul batashatal kubra. One day we shall seize you with a mighty grip. Which is the ism tafdeel?
Kubra.
Okay, so we have kubra. This is the feminine form. Good, mashallah. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَا فِي كُلِّ قَرْيَةٍ أَكَابِرَ مُجْرِمِيهَا. We placed leaders in every town, its wicked men. Which is the word?
Akabira.
Akabira. It's plural, right? And we have this akbaru is the singular and akabir is the plural. Allahu Akbar is the superlative, and here you say Allah is the greatest, okay? But we don't mention what Allah is greater than, right? Allahu Akbar, the phrase Allahu Akbar doesn't mention that which Allah is being compared to after the Ism Tafdeel, right? In order to include everything, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than everything. So when we say Allahu Akbar, we mean Allahu Akbar min everything. And that's why this phrase is often translated not as Allah is greater, but rather it's translated as Allah is the greatest. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than everything. So we don't need to mention anything after this. So you never say like Allahu Akbar min something, right? You already know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than everything.
We should say Allah is greatest.
Yeah, Allah is greatest. Comparative versus superlative. How do you say bigger than or more than or smaller than or better than? In Arabic, the word for that is min. If you say akbaru minni, bigger than me, asgharu minni, smaller than me, ajmalu min bayti, prettier than my house, ahsanu minka, better than you. Where did you learn min?
Is the huruful jar.
Huruful jar, right? But when you have min after the ism tafdeel, you're not gonna say from. Okay. This min, it's not translated as from like how we used to do previously, but now we know if it comes after ism tafdeel, it will be translated as than. Okay. And how to differentiate between the comparative and superlative is, if af'alu is followed by min, it is comparative. Let's take more examples from Quran. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La khalqus samawati wal ard. Surely the creation of the heavens and the earth, akbaru min khalqin nas, is greater than the creation of the mankind. So we have min after akbar, ism tafdeel, and you'll translate it as greater than, and you'll not translate min as from. One more example is وَالرَّكْبُ أَسْفَلَ مِنْكُمْ, and the caravan was lower than you. We have asfala followed by min. And in superlative form, there is no min. And the next word is a majroor, which means superlatives comes as mudaf sometimes. For example, we have أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا. I am greater than you, أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ. So this is, what is this? Is it comparative or superlative? I am greater than you in wealth and stronger in men. It's comparative. We have min after it. وَأَعَزُّ, and stronger in men. This is also comparative because of wow, harf ataf. Okay, the ayah continues. Okay.
Can you repeat that part? What did you say? Because of
what did we learn? If you have the akbar or asgar ism tafdeel, if you have min after it, it is comparative. If you don't have a min, it is superlative. That's what we learned, right? But in this ayah, we have aktharu followed by min, but azu, you don't have no min after it, right? But you still translate it as comparative. I am greater than you in wealth and stronger in men. Why? Because the ayah continues, because you have the harf ataf, wow is there, right? The ayah continues. So that's why they both are ism tafdeel, comparative.
Comparative. All right, got it.
وَلَا أَصْغَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَلَا أَكْبَرُ, and not smaller than that and not greater. And the superlative examples, we have the most recited surah, we have Inna Shani'aka huwal abtar. Indeed, your enemy, he is the most cut off. Okay, batar is to cut off. Abtar, it has come in the ism tafdeel pattern, the most cut off. Ayyukum ahsanu amala, which of you is best indeed? So ahsanu amala, ahsan is the best. This is ism tafdeel superlative degree. Ayyu shay'in akbaru shahada, what thing is greatest as a testimony? Akbar. Sabbihismi rabbikal a'la, glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High. A'la, right? The Most High. Why? Because it is coming in af'al, ism tafdeel pattern. Allahu a'lamu bima labithu. Say Allah knows best about what period they remained. They used to argue about that they remained for 300 years or more than that or whatever. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that Allah knows best about what period they remained. Okay, so a'lamu. This is the superlative degree. Alima is to know. A'lamu is he knows best. Alladhi yaslan nar al-kubara, the one who will burn in the fire, the great fire. Kubara. Kubara is feminine, right? Akbar and kubara. And we have فَأَرَادُوا بِهِ كَيْدًا فَجَعَلْنَاهُمُ الْأَسْفَلِينَ. Which is the word? Ism tafdeel. Asfalin. Asfala is singular and asfalin is plural. And they intended for him a plot, but we made them the lowest. قُلِ اللَّهُ أَسْرَعُ مَكْرًا. Say Allah is more swift in planning. Which is the أسرع. ذَلِكُمْ أَقْسَطُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَأَقْوَمُ لِلشَّهَادَةِ وَأَدْنَى. You have a lot of ism tafdeel in this ayah. Tell me. Is it superlative or comparative?
It is superlative.
MashaAllah, very good. It's more just, right? Indallahi, only one ism tafdeel in this ayah, or do you find more?
Aqwamu also.
Aqwamu
and what about adna?
Adna too, right? And nearer, right? And more upright for evidence and more nearer. And things you want to know about the word akbaru. Now, pay attention. You can put an al on it, okay? You have akbaru. If you put an al on it, it becomes superlative. Akbar is greater. Al akbaru, the greatest. Asma'u is a better listener or a more of a listener, and al-asma'u is the most listening or the best listener. A'lamu, more knowledgeable. Al-a'lamu, the most knowledgeable of the people. Okay. Now, how do you make superlative from comparative? If you add an al to the comparative, okay, if you add an al to the comparative, you make it superlative. And the other way is you can do this by making it a mudaf. For example, we learned already in the examples, right? So here we have akramun nasi, akbarur rijali, akbaruna, or akbaruhum. If the mudaf was comparative, it will actually become the superlative. It's more of a doer or more of a done to, like more of a hitter or the one who gets hit more, or the one who praises more is Ahmad, or the one who is praised more. We'll take the example of mudaf ilayh. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين. Then we turn him to the lowest of the low. So which is the Ism Tafdeel in this?
Asfala.
Asfala. And is it superlative or comparative?
It's superlative coming as mudaf.
Very good. MashaAllah. Asfala comes as mudaf, and look at the translation, the lowest of the low. Right? وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُورِ. And among you is the one who is sent back to the worst of the age. Which is the Ism Tafdeel?
Arzal.
Arzalil umur, right? The worst of the age, right? Arzal. ينكرونها وأكثرهم الكافرون.
Aksaru.
Aktharuhum, right? So this is mudaf ilayh, and most of them. And they deny it, and most of them are the disbelievers. Wa anta ahkamul hakimin. And you are the most just of the judges. Ahkamul hakimin. Wa anta arhamur rahimin. For you are the most merciful of the merciful. Arhamur rahimin. Last point in the book, there are exceptions to the previous rules. Like we have akhyaru and ashraru changes to khayrun and sharrun. Okay, so sometimes you might see a khayr and the translation is better than, and you might think, oh, this doesn't follow af'al pattern. Why is it like, why is it translated as khayr is better than, right? So this is the reason. These are the exceptions. So it is akhyaru actually, or ashraru. Sometimes it changes to khayrun or sharrun. And the examples of the exceptions are أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَلَعَبْدٌ مُؤْمِنٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن مُشْرِكٍ. A man slave who believes is better than an unbeliever. So which is the Ism Tafdeel in this ayah?
Khairun.
Khayrun, right? This is better than. And you have min after it, right? Khayrum min mushrikin, better than an unbeliever. As-salatu khayrum min an-nawm. When do we say this phrase?
In the Fajr.
Yeah.
Fajr Azan.
Very good. Very good. So as-salatu khayrum min an-nawm. Khayr, and then we have min, and the translation is salah is better than sleep. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. It is possible that you dislike a thing which is good for you. So which is the Ism Tafdeel in this ayah?
Khairun.
Khayrun, right? وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ.
Sharrun.
Sharrun, right? And that you loved a thing which is bad for you. Khair and shar. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ شَرُّ الْبَرِيَّةِ. They are the worst of creatures. Which is the Ism Tafdeel?
Sharrun.
Sharrun, right? Instead of ashraru, it has come as sharrun. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ خَيْرُ الْبَرِيَّةِ. Which is the word?
Khairun.
Khairun, right? Khairul bariya, the best of creatures. This is mudaf ilayh. Sharrul bariya. This is also mudaf ilayh. More examples for that. Laylatul qadri khayrum min alfi shahr. Right? The night of power is better than 1,000 months. So we have khayrun, right? Khayrum min alfi shahr. Better than. Here the mudaf ilay is plural. Akbarul masajidi. The biggest of all the masjids. Asgharul masajidi, the smallest of the masjids. Ahsanul masajidi, the best of the masjids. Ajmalul masajidi, the most beautiful of the masjids. So you have, whenever you see mudaf, mudaf ilay, you have the ism tafdeel, and the mudaf ilay, if it is plural, then you say the biggest of the masjid, the smallest of the masjid, or the best of the masjid, like that. There are three particular ways of making mudaf. First one is when you have ahsanul kitabi, the mudaf ilay is marifa and singular. Here the mudaf ilay is plural and marifa. Here this is singular and it is nakira. Singular and nakira, this is superlative because it's a mudaf. Ahsanul kitabi, what is this? Ahsanul kitabi, how do you translate this? Kitab is singular.
Of the book. The best book.
Best book. Okay. What about others?
The best of the book.
Here we learned if you have akbarul masajid, you say biggest of the masjids, right? Because this is the biggest, masajid is plural, right? You're saying this is the biggest among all the masjids, or smallest, or best, right? Ahsanul kitabi, al kitab.
The best of all books.
How about others?
The kitab is singular, so
Yeah.
it has to be book. The best book.
Okay, what about others? Any other translation for this? Ahsanul kitabi, it's not the best book. It becomes a fraction here. Because the mudaf ilay is singular here and it is not plural. So how can it become best of the books or best book? You cannot the best part of the book. Are you following it? Like you have ajmalul baiti. You say the best part of the house. Is it clear, everyone? If you have mudaf, mudaf ilay, if you have ism tafdeel and you have the mudaf ilay as singular and marifa, then it becomes fraction. And you cannot say it as the best book or the best of the book. It becomes fraction. You say the best part of the book, right? Because it's singular. And if I say ajmalul baiti, the best part of the house. Okay? So when the noun after these words is singular noun, like ahsanul kitabi, or if it starts with a marifa or a proper noun al, then you don't translate it as superlative like the best house or the biggest book, but you translate them as the best part of the house or the best part of the book. Is it clear, everyone? Did you all understand?
So only when the mudaf ilayhi is singular.
Is singular and marifa and proper noun, only then. Okay. So ahsanul kutub, when the mudaf ilay is plural and marifa, you use av. Okay, when you have it as a plural, then you literally translate it as the best of the books. Ahsanul kutubi, the one book is best of all of them, right? The best of the books, because ahsanul kutub, kutub is plural. Okay, al-Qur'anu ahsanul kutubi. How do you translate this?
The Quran is the best of books.
Very good. MashaAllah. Al-Quranu ahsanul kutub, because kutub is plural and it is marifa, right? But if I say ahsanu kitabin, it is nakira and singular. You say the best book. Okay, ahsanu kitabin. Kitabin is nakira. Okay, it is singular. And you say ahsanu kitabin is the best book, and is an easy translation when we translate it as a noun and an adjective, that is sifa mausuf, even though it is mudaf mudaf ilay, right? Ahsanu kitabin is mudaf mudaf ilay, but you translate it as a sifa mausuf, the best book. Even the word the is not there here, we still translate it as the best book. We have this akbaru masjidin, you translate it as the biggest masjid. Akbaru masjidin. If I say akbaru al-masajidi, you say the biggest of the masjids, right? You have al-masajid is plural and it is marifa and you translate it as the biggest of the masajids. But if I say akbaru al-masjidi, al-masjidi is what? This is marifa and it is singular, right? So how do you translate this?
The biggest,
part of the masjid, because akbaru al-masjidi. If it was akbaru al-masajidi, you say the biggest of the masjids, but it is akbaru al-masjidi, singular and marifa. But if it is akbaru masjidin, You say the biggest masjid. Example we have فَأَبَى أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ إِلَّا كُفُورًا, which is the Ism Tafdeel.
أكثر.
And this is in mudaf mudaf ilayh. Aktharu is mudaf and nasi is mudaf ilayh, which refuse most of the people except disbelief. Okay, and one more note is also only the active verbs like karuma can be put into comparative or superlative form. Karuma becomes akramu or kabura becomes akbar, like that. But the passive verbs like duriba are not put into comparatives or superlatives. Okay, you cannot make the passives, the majhul, into comparatives or superlatives. This is the note. Okay, verbs look like ism tafdeel for it, but they actually are not. Like we have alladhi ahsana kulla shay'in khalaqa. What do you think about the word ahsan here? It comes as af'al pattern, akbar pattern. But ahsan here, there are different forms of word which we are going to learn in unit 3. So this is form 4. Af'al, it's a form 4. This is a word. And look at the in the corpus you have, this is fi'al madi. Okay, so don't get confused with verbs and those things. If you look at the example, you will understand. The one who made good everything he created. So there's nothing like comparative or superlative, better than or best.
Are you talking about the both the past active and the present active?
Yeah, any passives, they cannot be made into comparatives or superlatives form. But only the active verbs like nasara, fa'ala, sami'a, they can be made into comparative or superlative. Like asma'a, akbara, asghara. Okay. So yeah, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.